Good afternoon. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Complaint Committee of the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force. Meeting's called for Tuesday, June 8th, 2010, scheduled at 3:30. It's now 3:30. I'm Chairman Nick Goldman. To my right is Member James Knepper. Would you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Member Goldman?
Present.
Goldman present. Member Knepper?
Present.
Knepper present. Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Are there any agenda changes, members?
No.
Chris, have we any agenda
There are
changes?
no agenda changes, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
Would you call first item, please?
The first item is the approval of minutes of May 11, 2010.
I move that we approve the minutes.
I second that. Is there any public comment on the minutes of our May 11th meeting? Seeing none, public comments closed. Would you call the question, please, Chris?
On the motion to approve the minutes, Member Goldman?
Aye.
Goldman, aye. Member Knepper?
Aye.
Knepper, aye, Mr. Chair. There are two ayes.
Point of order, not that it makes much difference in this meeting, but could you call the chairman
Second.
last?
Yeah.
It's probably best. Yeah. Would you call the next item, please?
Item number 2 is the determination of jurisdiction on complaint filed by Lana Pastrana against the Adult and Aging Services Department for allegedly refusing to furnish the results of an investigation filed against Adult Protective Services employee Ethelbert Obiui.
Thank you. Folks, at this meeting, what we're attempting to do is determine whether or not the task force has jurisdiction to move forward with this matter, and in some cases, we also clarify the complaints if they need to be clarified. So what I'd like to hear now is first from the complainant and then the respondent why you feel or you feel that there is not jurisdiction on this item. First, the complainant, please.
I would ask to excuse me. It's my first time using
Not a
microphone,
problem.
so
Not a problem. Could
if
you
something
speak?
will be wrong, please correct me.
Could you please speak into the microphone and identify yourself, please?
My name is Svetlana Ptashna, and I is a complainant in item 118.
Sure.
My complaint to Sunshine Ordinance Task Force connected with fact that I confront evidences of group deliberate deception, fraud, that uses government employee. In my instance, social worker of Department of Aging and Adult Services, department which pertains to San Francisco Human Services Agency, social workers Mr. Ethelbert Obuyehi called me on January 12th, first time, with purpose to clarify the situation with elderly woman that lives at apartment above mine. I explained that consider the situation as unlawful outrage. The person this person or someone at her apartment constantly performs hooligan rampage. I sent to Mr. Obuyehi all documents I had regarding this matter at that point of time, as he asked and requested to make a written conclusion of what he found out. After my fourth request, Mr. Obuyehi called second time and proposed to meet in cafe. I explained that could meet him only in his office or in the building where outrage happens. He refused to meet in the office and said he will come to my apartment with purpose to define steps to resolve the problem. On February 9th, after a few minutes of discussion at my apartment, social worker Mr. Obuyehi made the statement that the owner of the building, to whom I sent previously 15 complaints regarding the same matter, and whose negligence I reported already to San Francisco Department of Building Inspection. Mr. Obuyehi stated that owner was not pleased with me. Mr. Obuyehi's next statement started, if you, which he was not able to finish because I said that our meeting at my apartment ended and he must leave. Surprisingly, Mr. Obuyehi didn't leave even chair and insisted to stay. I explained that I will call the police and open the apartment door. Government employee Mr. Obuyehi continued to stay at my apartment, saying, if you touch me, you will go in jail while trying to make contact with my hands. Not being successful, he finally left. On February 11th, I sent request to Adult Protective Services, part of Department of Aging and Adult Services, to provide investigation of the attempt of open harassment made by social worker Mr. Aboyehi at the time when he performed his duty as government program employee. On March 5th, I received response from Mr. Aboyehi's supervisor, Ms. Rasmussen, with refusal to divulge confidential information, including investigation results. The same refusal I received on May 19th from Executive Director of Department of Aging and Adult Services, Ms. Hinton, after I addressed my requests to Executive Director of Human Services Agency, Mr. Rohrer. I believe that no level of confidentiality can prevent me from knowing whether facts I mentioned in complaint were confirmed and whether action were taken accordingly. Please make these public records open. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now hear from the respondent. Is the respondent present?
Mr. Chair, the respondent has sent in a note
Oh, is that what this purports to be?
saying they will not be attending the meeting, and the task force does not have jurisdiction over that way.
I won't say in public what I think of that. Matters with the task force. Members, what's your feeling on this item?
I think it's clear this falls under our jurisdiction.
I think that it, too, falls under our jurisdiction. I would move that we find jurisdiction on this item.
I'd second that.
Before we call the question, I'd like to see if there's any public comment on jurisdiction of this item. Seeing none, Chris, would you call the question?
On jurisdiction, Member Knebel?
Aye.
Knebel, aye. Member Goldman?
Aye.
Goldman, aye. Mr. Chair, there are 2 ayes.
So this meeting will come before the full task force. What's
The
the date?
22nd.
On the 22nd, we will hear your case in front of the full task force, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
And my presence...
Will be helpful.
Yes.
Yes. So, although we have tried,
No, I certainly will be. I just
Okay,
don't
yes.
know procedure.
but I mean, if push comes to shove and you have to take care of a sick child or something, we have heard cases before without the complainant present, and it's possible, so.
Yes.
yeah.
I just wanted to know procedure. Thank you very much.
Okay, and Mr. Rustum will be in contact with you before that time,
Thank you.
okay?
He was very helpful. Thank you.
He is that, I must say.
So, my presence...
Yeah, you're done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Mr. Rustum, will you call item 3, please?
Item 3 is determination of jurisdiction on complaint filed by Alvin X against the Children and Families Commission for allegedly violating Sunshine Ordinance Section 67.27, 3.1, and 3.5.
Is the complainant present? I don't see him. I think we can proceed without him. He alleges that he requested information, professional positions held by black males from period something to something.
2007 to the present.
Source of all, I can't read his handwriting.
Source of all tax monies and services expended for same time period, programs and services for male fathers.
Male father is right. Okay, so that is the basis of his complaint. Is the respondent agency here? Would you care to weigh in on this?
Yes.
I knew
Good
you would.
afternoon, task force members. My name is Laura Klumak. I'm the Executive Director of First 5 San Francisco Children and Families Commission. And you will hear a lot of frustration in my voice, and I'm hoping that you can assist me. First 5 San Francisco is funded by Prop 10. It's a tobacco tax that funds early childhood programs for children birth to 5. We are an enterprise department in the city and county of San Francisco, so we're housed in the city and county and follow all the rules and regulations of the city, but we're also held to a very high standard from our state, First 5 California, where we have very specific guidelines, about transparency, about audits. And I think that we also have a very deep value about being community-minded and community-oriented, and we hold everything that we do. We hold community forums. All of our RFPs are decided through a community process, and I really feel that we have been held to a high standard and we fulfill it. We have had a lot of interactions with Mr. X over the last almost a year. The first complaint we received on September 30th, 2009, it was about a complaint made against the Economic Opportunities Council. I think we never actually received the complaint ourselves. We didn't receive the request ourselves. At first we heard about it as a complaint received by the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force. I think we received it because we're one of the key funders of the EOC Center. We did then attend the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force meeting on October 27th. I was there from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. It was item 26. Mr. X left before the item was heard, and so I guess it was dropped. What we wanted, we had talked with Mr. Rustum about how to respond. We were very willing to work with the EOC to get the information requested. At that time, the EOC was going through kind of major change. The executive director had resigned, the board chair had resigned, so it was very difficult to really get them engaged, but we were very willing to do that piece of work as a responsible funding department, but that was dropped. We did receive an email request from Mr. X on October 16, 2009. After consulting with our attorney, we responded on October 29th. We sent him our strategic plan. He asked for our examples of our RFP process that detailed the process, and we sent them to him 2 RFPs, so that illustrated our process. We also answered several questions that he posed, many of which are repeated in this latest request, about the number of African American men that we serve, the number of parent groups that we attend. We had a long list that we responded to. And so we sent that to him. We also received another request via a telephone call to one of our staff members on November 19th. Mr. X, wanted to see our Family Resource Center evaluation framework, which we're very proud of, and we responded in December 1st by sending that to him. On December 2nd, Mr. X contacted our 2 commissioners, our chair and our vice chair. He stated that the executive director, me, denied knowledge of information available, that he had made a request for our outreach efforts, and was asked to address the commission about our mission. So we never had received a request about our outreach efforts. If we had, we would have responded. We did send him a response letter with an invitation to attend our commission meetings, and Mr. X never attended that meeting. Okay. We received a second complaint, number 09081, on December 17th. This again was for EOC. We never did receive the request. The first that we knew about it was a second complaint. We did send a letter to Mr. Rustum on December 24th, just detailing the process to date that we had gone through with him. But our Deputy Director, Gloria Corral, attended the task force meeting on January 5th. She was here from 4 o'clock to 8:30. Mr. X did not appear. And we were told at that time that he had moved out of state. Mr. X, then we thought that, we had... That was the last of hearing from him. However, he called our receptionist on April 16th, requesting information again about our outreach efforts. He was quite aggressive. And what I had told my staff in the interim is if they receive such requests, that please direct those requests to me as the executive director. So he was asked to call the executive director, and also to put his request in writing so that we could respond accordingly. We never received a written request or a phone call. And then we received a complaint from the Sunshine Task Ordinance on May 19th. We never received a written request from Mr. X for this information, but I am now before you, again, trying to respond and make some sense of how to manage this. And
Right.
I'm coming to appeal to you.
Okay.
let me ask you, on the items that are referenced in his complaint, are there documents responsive to a request, or do they not exist?
Do you mean his latest request?
Yeah, that's
Requested information
We
on-
do not have documents readily available. I mean, we collect a lot of demographic data that we could put together.
But there is no document that has that on there right now.
None that we routinely
Well, see, a
develop.
department is not required to create a document in response to a request. If a department receives a request for a document and they have it, they need to turn it over, obviously.
Right.
But if somebody requests a report on how many Eurasians get money from a certain department, and there is no report on how many Eurasians get money from that department, there's nothing to give them. So
Right.
that's what I would tell you is one way to proceed.
Right.
Number two, with him specifically, I would say, please put everything in writing,
Yes.
because it sounds like there's a lot of things that are falling through the cracks here. He says that he requested it, but no one ever heard that? I mean, yeah.
I mean, we really are trying to be careful. We at first when he made the request, we wanted to be responsive and invited him to come and talk
Right,
to us.
of course.
But now, I think it's really how to manage someone who I'm not going to I'm not going to say anything
No,
more
you
about
know,
that. But we
and
want to
probably best
respond
not to.
accordingly,
No,
yeah.
no, because I can't say it, so you can't say it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, I would say, just be exceedingly polite and say, sir, if you want that information, please let me know in writing, and I'll be happy to get it for you.
Yeah.
And say, that's how we need to proceed.
Okay.
Yeah, because I sense your frustration. We on the task force sometimes feel it too, because we go through the same motions of showing up for the meetings, preparing for his testimony, and then he disappears or
Yeah.
doesn't show up, or shows up and speaks about something that has nothing to do with the alleged complaint.
Right.
So, yeah, we feel your frustration too.
Okay.
But I would just get very specific with the man and say, listen, if you want a specific document, let me know.
Please
But
put it in
I would also tell you that if you don't have a document responsive, tell him that right out. Say, you asked for, whatever this says, for male fathers. I mean, say, we don't have that document.
That
And
would
put that
be
in writing.
That would be a way to actually document that we've actually searched for this document and we don't have anything responsive to it. But you need to keep that trail so that when it comes before us, we have something to say. They've responded, they've done what they could do, so that we can dismiss it.
Yeah, and in
Okay.
fact, if something like that were in our packet today, that would have been helpful. We have this from him, but if there was a document from you saying, sir, what you asked for, we don't have. Boom, end of story. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So, matters with the task force.
That being said, I do think with what's here that it is under our jurisdiction. I do think that we have to go forward with what information we have.
Unfortunately, I feel the same way.
I think we have to find jurisdiction in this case.
Yeah.
And I move so.
And I would second that. My personal ideas aside, there is a basis for a case here, and we have to move forward with it. So
I guess I don't understand what that means.
what that means is that he has on its face a valid complaint, and so we have to hear it.
We have to send what we do here is find if the complaint falls under the jurisdiction of the Sunshine Ordinance, and if it has merits, as no matter what the evidence is, if the case that's brought up falls under that, we have to find jurisdiction and put it before the full task force to be able to talk about it. And
Even
decide.
if the merits are just minimal. See, we don't think that he's necessarily going to win the case, but he has a case.
And we have
See,
to-
so we have to move it forward.
Even though I haven't received anything in writing this
Right.
request?
Well,
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
that is those are the merits of the case. Here we're finding jurisdiction. This type of case falls under the Sunshine Ordinance.
Yeah.
And from what we have here, we have to find, I think
Yeah.
we have to find jurisdiction in this case. In front of the full task force, you can present your evidence and then, okay?
I really can't afford to spend 4 more hours presenting. We have already done 8 hours in front of the task force and another many hours. So, you know, and that's going to be a hardship on my office. We're a small office. So, and I see people don't show up, and I don't want to be, I want to be responsive because I respect the work of the task force and think it's an important safeguard. But really, for me to come here again for 4 hours.
Well, that being said, I mean, I understand your frustration, but under the San Francisco Charter, you get money, you are a commission under the charter, and you're required to show up to these cases.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to come and say basically what I said today.
Yeah.
Can I be first?
We don't know.
That I don't set, unfortunately.
So I move we
sets
find
that?
jurisdiction.
Send a request to our chair, Nee, through Mr. Rustum.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you,
Yeah.
gentlemen.
Thank you for your time. So, have we moved and seconded
Yes,
that
we have.
yet? Okay, call the question, please.
On the motion to find jurisdiction, Member Knebel?
Aye.
Knebel, aye. Member Goldman?
Aye.
Goldman, aye. Mr. Chair, there are 2 ayes.
Thank you. What do you call item 4, please?
Item 4 is determination of jurisdiction on complaint filed by Suzanne Dumont against the Recreation and Parks Department for allegedly refusing to adhere to a public records request.
Is the complainant here? There she is.
There I am.
Would you please to tell us why you think we have jurisdiction?
First of all, can I introduce myself, or should I? Just
Sure,
Yes,
feel
please.
free. Yeah, yeah.
I'm a complainant on my own behalf, but the reason that I got involved in all this is that I'm one of the coalition leaders for Save the Stowe Lake Boathouse, which is, I'll try to say it as fairly as I can, which is a project that Rec and Park has been working on for 5 years and kind of bungled, if I might say that, and been doing a lot of this in secret. So we've had a lot of other documents that have been withheld and we find later. This is just sort of one of many. So I just want to put that out. And our group has the support of numerous neighborhood groups, the San Francisco Sierra Club, and we have 1,900 signatures on our petition to support the current situation at the boathouse. I did receive yesterday, and thank you so much, Mr. Rustrum. You're very, very helpful, and I really appreciate having someone to talk to about some of these things. I did receive the letter from the district attorney, and I guess it seemed to me that perhaps that was at least a good beginning for me, that they do find that you should have jurisdiction. Okay, so that's one reason, but the main concern is that there are many selection panels that the Recreation and Parks Department has, and to our best knowledge, most of them are publicly known before, during, and after, and that the reasoning we heard, and again, this is a rumor, I don't have it in writing, but we heard is that they didn't want to make this one public because there was public opposition, surprise, surprise, which to me seemed like a really strange reason to suddenly put something in secret. So we do have people who have sat on the Outside Lands Festival panel as recently as last fall, and they said that throughout the entire process, it was all publicly known that they were sitting on it. The Millwright Cottage restaurant, I don't know if you know, near the Murphy's Windmill, that we know that RFQ and RFP, that was all public throughout the entire process, not just afterwards. So we're sensing some, something at play here, and that's why we're asking. The other reason that we're asking for the names of the people on the selection panel is that one of the Rec and Park commissioners sent us an email, and I can give you a copy of that, or if you'd like or not, but telling us that she was actually on the panel and that it was going to be deliberating very soon, and she wanted to talk to us before the deliberations. So we thought, okay, she outed herself. We didn't, and so we said, okay, great. We'd love to talk to you. Of course, we have input. And then all of a sudden, she went quiet, and it was like, oops, I shouldn't have said that. So we just don't understand the secrecy around all this, and we feel like if there's a major decision being made on behalf of the public, it should be, at minimum, those people should be able to have their names known. We're not, asking for their rank, serial number, tax records.
Sure.
We're just asking for who they are and who the makeup of the panel is.
Okay.
All of that.
All right, very good. Is a respondent agency here? No. I would entertain a motion.
I move we find jurisdiction.
I second that. Is there any public comment on jurisdiction on this item? Seeing none, public comment is closed. Chris, would you please call the question?
On motion to find jurisdiction, Member Knebel?
Aye.
Knebel, aye. Member Goldman?
Aye.
Goldman, aye. Mr. Chair, there are 2 ayes.
So you will be on the what date?
July 22nd.
July July?
June.
How about June?
22nd.
June
You're scaring
22nd.
me here. June 22nd, there'll be a hearing. So that email would be nice.
All the
evidence.
information that you have.
Yeah, all that would
I
be
would,
nice.
just as a hint, I would, as a tactic, I would look into the RFP process and try to get as much information about that selection committee and come with information about past selections to be able to present to us as at the task force.
And I would get your stuff to Chris early so we can have it in our packet. Because if you present it on the day of, we really don't have time to
No,
look
it's
at
not
it.
so powerful.
Yeah.
I want to thank you very much because I don't mean to opine, but I guess I have to. It's all been so much in secret. It's so wonderful that you guys are here to at least,
Well,
try to
that's
make
why
process
the
fair.
well, that's why the Sunshine Ordinance was put in
Yeah.
place, because Willie Brown was doing everything in secret. And, people said, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
It's our money. What's going on here?
We just want fairness. I mean, the truth is, we just want fairness and transparency. That's.
Thank you.
Well, it's especially galling when the reason they close it is due to opposition. It's
Well,
like,
that's-
well, shouldn't you be listening to opposition?
Well, yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly.
you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thanks for playing.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very
And we'll see you on the 22nd.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Mr.
Yeah. Yeah, that kills me. Well, there might be opposition. Maybe we should close the meeting.
Okay.
All righty. Could you call item 5, please?
Item 5 is the administrator's report. Mr. Chair, we may have 5 cases to hear next month.
Excellent. Keep us in business. Is there public comment for items not listed on the agenda? Seeing none. Any announcements, comments, questions of future agenda items from committee members? No.
I move we adjourn.
A second, and by a rising vote.